Iran promised to open the Strait of Hormuz and deliberately failed to do so, the president writes. This caused anxiety, displacement, and suffering to many people and countries around the world. They say they placed mines in the water, even though their entire navy and most of their mine launchers have been completely destroyed. So that's it. The meeting was good. Most of the points were agreed upon, but the only point that really mattered, the nuclear issue, was not. With immediate effect, declares the President, the United States Navy, the best in the world, will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. At some point, we will reach a situation where everyone will be able to enter and everyone will be able to leave. But Iran didn't allow that by saying there might be a mine somewhere that no one knows about except them. This is global extortion, and leaders of countries, more specifically the United States of America, will never be extorted. I have also instructed our Navy to search for and intercept any vessel in international waters that has paid a toll to Iran. No one who pays an illegal toll will have safe passage on the high seas. We will also begin to destroy the mines that the Iranians have placed in the straits. Any Iranian who shoots at us or at peaceful vessels will be sent to hell. The president writes, Iran knows better than anyone how to end this situation, which has already devastated their country. Their navy is gone, their air force is gone, their anti-aircraft systems and radars are useless. Khomeini and most of his leaders are dead, all because of their nuclear ambition. The blockade will begin soon. Other countries will be involved in this blockade. Iran will not be allowed to profit from this illegal act of extortion. They want money and, more importantly, nuclear weapons. Furthermore, at the appropriate time, we are ready to act, and our armed forces will take care of what little is left of Iran. President Donald J.
Trump, truly an extraordinary action by the president following a series of other extraordinary actions he has taken, recognizing that these are international waterways. And for 47 years, the Ayatollahs of Iran have held the Strait of Hormuz hostage, holding the entire world hostage because of a small and strange curve in the Strait of Hormuz, which goes deep into Iranian territory and allows them to control 20% of the world's oil and gas supply. And President Trump called their bluff. He basically took the hostage and said, enough, you're not going to do this anymore. And I predict that other countries that depend on this oil and gas more than the United States, ended up realizing that this is probably the only possible way. So
Iran felt that it was at an advantage, that it had bargaining power by trying to go down this path.
And as always,
in this 1,394-mile strait where hundreds of oil tankers pass daily, they supposedly mined it. They report that they don't even know where the mines are, so they redirected the traffic to Iranian waters, charging a toll. These are the ships the president intends to attack, but that decision goes into effect immediately. The blockade of ships entering and leaving the country serves to indicate that Iran never had the influence it thought it had. While we send 2 destroyers to the strait to begin mine removal and now block it to neutralize Iran. Take advantage. It's really useless that they can't affect this. Now, this goes back, and by the way, to have the full context, because the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea says that no country bordering any strait, let alone the Strait of Hormuz, can control it, let alone impose or charge any kind of toll. So the president's decision is not just a reaction to the fact that Iran is not following the law of the sea, but because on April 7 the UN approved a resolution to reopen the strait and tell Iran that they could not act that way, which was vetoed by Russia and China. So, in the end, this doesn't involve just Iran. Now it includes China, which receives 80 of those oil tankers. 90 go to Asian countries, and this is backfiring as the energy flow shifts to the east. And this is also going to Zua.
This forces countries like China to suddenly wake up and realize that, wait a minute, we have to be part of this and help clean up the strait.
Do you remember that after the successful rescue mission of the second aviator, the downed WSO, Director Ratcliffe came out and gave a speech together with General Keane and the Secretary of War, Hegseth, and the director said, You know, we have the best armed forces in the world. We have the best agency. We have the best intelligence without exception on the battlefield. Better described than I'm paraphrasing right now. But he said, but none of that matters, and all of it loses its value without a commander-in-chief who has the political courage to put it into practice. And I know this is a specific scenario different from this one, but it reminds me of that statement that all our capabilities become powerless and useless without a commander-in-chief and president with political courage. And there is the geopolitical and diplomatic vision to truly put American interests first. This issue with Iran has been a thorn in the side of the United States and the free world for almost 50 years. And we've seen what used to be one of our strongest allies definitely become our greatest enemy, besides China, over the past 50 years. And every commander-in-chief has kicked the can down the road. And finally, we have Zoom, and he's persistent. We're watching the sausage being made. It's not pleasant at all, but it's necessary.
And all the presidents from both parties, both Democrats and Republicans, have acknowledged this problem. And nobody wanted to go after it. And we also found ourselves, President Trump finds himself in a situation where the United Nations and NATO are completely ineffective, totally incapable of recognizing the importance and wisdom of actually addressing this problem and resolving the issue once and for all. For decades, you had countries fighting with Iranian proxies. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, where they played all these games. Iran funded all of them. No one has funded more weapons that killed American soldiers and probably soldiers from other countries, except, outside of Ukraine since World War II, than Iran. Iran is the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the world, and Trump says, I'm not going to fight against proxies anymore. I'm going to cut off the head of the snake. If we can put the map of the Strait up again, because what the president says is really fascinating, and then you see in blue is the main area of about 1,400 square miles where the shipping routes go through. Iran said this is dangerous. There are mines there. You see this blocked with the
red lines cross the area, forcing ships to go through the red zone, shipping routes for which Iran apparently charges a toll. And President, look.
Those areas in red are Iranian territorial waters.
Yes, new ones. Shipping routes imposed by Iran on ships because they block normal passage. This violates the law of the sea from the United Nations Convention, and that's why President Trump has now decided to block the ships. But what's fascinating is that he says on Truth Social, in capital letters, this is global extortion. And that's exactly the point he's addressing, trying to defend. No country can hold an international maritime shipping route hostage. It's trying to redirect ships through its waterways, which are Iranian. Near the coast, those are Iranian waterways, right? And they charge a toll. That is, I would say that as soon as that blockade started, the end result of all this, even in the short term, would be total and absolute failure on Iran's part. By trying to keep control of the strait as if it were a hostage. Earlier this morning, we had Tom Sauer, a retired Navy commander who served in the Navy EOD, and he talked about the men and women who are boarding the Peterson and the Murphy, the two destroyers you saw on that map. They're starting to clear the mines and set the conditions. The USS Peterson and Murphy have already entered. He said he was practically begging Admiral Cooper to send him because that's what they've trained for their whole lives. He said that the plan to do something like clear a strait, like the Strait of Hormuz, has existed for decades.
Trace Tracy joined us earlier and highlighted two important points. One of them was the truthfulness of the Iranian statement about the mines. So, as you see on this map, basically it's the threat of mines in this area. A demarcated area that then forces ships to enter the region where the Iranians can extort them, right? So, how can we believe them, right? This is part of the threat. And the other relevant point he raised was that, as we are seeing, he says that the peace negotiations unfortunately did not work out for Iran. Exactly. We do this all day.